Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be exploring the Nevada State Museum in Carson City, Nevada. This is the really beautiful museum, and it is attached to this old building which used to be the state's mint, where all of Nevada's money was made. We start off looking at the Nevada State fossil, the Ichthyosaurus. This is one of my favorite dinosaurs, and it looks so cool. It reminds me of like an evil dolphin. So let's head into the Nevada's Changing Earth exhibit. This is a really neat place that deals with how Nevada looked before there was even anything living there. It was just a bunch of rocks like these. Very old, ancient, petrified, fossilized, old rocks. And there's a lot to be seen in this exhibit. Over here was a little movie explaining how the earth was made, and I found this cool tunnel, so let's go inside and see what is inside of this neat watery looking tunnel. And look, it's a giant fish. He looks like a big goobery. Isn't he cute? Even though he's having his meal. There's lots of ancient sea creatures that used to live probably in the place that we are standing, totally covered in water with all of these bizarre prehistoric looking guys. I think they look so neat. I'm still obsessed with the big fishy. He's so cute. Let's head out and take a look at some of the exhibits here. I'm really fascinated by really old rocks and stones and things. Look at these old fossils of those guys that we just saw. It's so awesome. And let's see what's over here. Some more really cool. Let's see. Ooh, lots of little bumps in that guy. I'm trying to read all the little signs while filming it. It's very hard to do. Just lots of old signs. Ooh, look at that. Lots of old signs and indications of what life used to be like in the place where I am now standing in Nevada. Focus on rocks. Here's a bunch of cool minerals that can be found in Nevada. Lots of very cool types of rocks there. There's the igneous, sedimentary. You can see the mud, shale, sand, sandstone, limestone, all those kinds of things. And then we have the minerals. You can see the marble there, slate, schist. Look at that big fossil. It's an ammonite. Is that not crazy? I didn't realize they could grow to be so big. Some more really neat fossils. Looks like more little ammonites and things there. I spent a lot of time in the rocks and minerals exhibit because I just think that they're so neat. These little pieces of the earth from so long ago. Looking at all the neat pictures on the walls here, real life examples of what the world used to look like. Now here comes my favorite one. I think I started filming this right here. Yes, so these are the fancy minerals here. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful stones. I could have spent a lot of time looking at all of them, but I had a whole other museum to look at. A lot of these I had never even heard of before, so it was really cool to see them. Or there were stones that I had heard of before, but never seen them in like that. Here's a bunch of examples of silver, which is very important to Nevada's history. You're going to see why in a little bit. Like, here's some cinnabar. I've never really seen cinnabar like that before. Pretty cool. There's some gold right there. And there's a big old chunk of gold. See, isn't that so cool? All the different forms that these stones and minerals come in. Some beautiful fluorite over there. And look at these. Look how bright yellow that is. All of the sulfur, there's pyrite. Aren't those amazing? At least I think so. Hematite. Beautiful, beautiful stones. Let's see. I'm trying to remember all the cool ones before they come up. But yeah, this one is bizarre. The ram's horn selenite. I've never heard or seen of anything like that before. It looks like it's like a worm, like it used to be alive or something. This big, big crystal here. It's so amazing. I find crystals to be really fascinating because these are things that were made in the heart of the earth that have been brought to the surface, and they come in so many shapes and sizes and all the different materials they're made out of. I love that barite rose. Isn't that beautiful? The big amethyst chunks. It's so incredible that the heart of our planet is capable of creating so many incredible things, and there's so much more beneath our feet. I think crystals, there's something kind of magical about them, and I don't mean in the way that like, oh, they can heal things and cleanse things. I just think that they are little miracles that you can hold in your hand, except this one you cannot hold that in your hand. That is too big. That is massive. That would really hurt if it was in the wrong place at the wrong time, wouldn't it? This is a really neat exhibit. It took me a while to figure out what exactly it was trying to display. So there's a black light on it. I just turned it off, and it's going to pop back on in a minute, and you can see that these rocks are fluorescent, that they have a really cool glow about them. Here we go. So then I pan up, and it's kind of hard to see in the reflection, but these rocks have a very cool iridescent glow about them, or luminescent glow about them. Some more crystals in here, which was really hard to see because you could see my reflection there. Really hard to film some of these beautiful stones. Look at that. Some of these don't even look real, you know. They are so remarkable. And we're going to see later in the museum just how these stones were dug up out of the earth. Oh, isn't that beautiful? So clear and shiny. Yeah, there's all different kinds. And this is an old-fashioned seismograph. You can see it's not running, but they stopped it on a spot where it had detected an earthquake. Isn't that neat? Yeah, apparently it's an outdated form, but I don't know. That's the ones I'm used to seeing, at least when I lived in California. And look who we have here. This is a giant mammoth. Pretty much the entire skeleton. He's missing his feet back there, but that's okay. An absolutely huge mammoth. It's so big it's hard to comprehend. Of course, it would have been much more intimidating if he had all his skin on, but look, it barely fits in the building. And then back here behind it is an old, like, horsey skeleton. Very, very big horsey next to this very, very big mammoth. What a sight. I guess that this is like the crown jewel of the museum. It's really, really fascinating and cool. It's my sister there reading about it. And yeah, we spent a long time just gazing upon this big whopper here and reading all about him. And there you can see the horse, 25,500-year-old horse, and a 17,000-year-old mammoth. Well, it says it was 50 years old, but died 17,000 years ago. Pretty amazing, the life that used to live here in this very place where we're standing. So cool. Let's check out this neat taxidermy section of all the different kinds of animals you can find. Now, I must warn you, there's some eggs there. that there are some snakes in this exhibit. And as you can tell, there are taxidermy animals, so I do apologize if those disturb you. There's a bad skeleton. I know things like that can bother some people, make them a little unsettled, so I apologize. You might want to skip ahead to later. I was pointing out all the cool skeletons to my sister there. And yeah, I think this section is probably, oh, hello there. It's probably a really interesting thing, but can be upsetting to some people because it is animals like this guy that used to be alive. Or this beautiful bird here. There's photos there showing how they display them. There's a bobcat. So yes, we're going to explore this hall, and it was under construction. They are in the process of expanding it, so it's not totally complete, but what is in here is really, really fascinating. So let's take a look at some of the animals you can find in the wilderness of Nevada. First, we have some cute friends here. Really chunky too. I don't remember what they're called though. Some kind of ground squirrel or chipmunk or something. There's a skunk. He's ready to spray. Don't get too close. A beautiful blue jay. There is that looks like a raven, I want to say. Big birds. And a little frog. Some beautiful seabirds. There's some sandpipers by the looks of it. And here's a beautiful owl. It's so pretty. And yes, there is a rattler. A rattlesnake. Ooh, be careful. Don't get too close to that one either. Here's the beautiful golden eagle. Oh, so majestic. Absolutely stunning. I know that this bird is the national bird of many, many, many countries, and I can see why. It's so beautiful. There's a Gila monster. Ooh, be careful. And another rattler by the looks of it. Here's a big cormorant. I always thought those were kind of goofy. Really big body and really tiny face, but they are water birds. Here we have a big old desert tortoise. He looks kind of grumpy, probably because he's in a museum on display. And of course the raccoon, which you can find all over the United States, but I think they're really sweet even though they're scavengers. And uh-oh, who do we have here? Who is this? It is a big bear. Oh my, it's a big, oh my. It's a big, sweet, but very dangerous bear. So, so cool. I don't know, like, I guess the bears in my area aren't too big because I always pictured bears to be so much bigger, but they are really cute, aren't they? This exhibit has like every kind of bird, and I'm not going to be able to name them all for you here, especially the little tiny guys, but I think they're really sweet. I was over here looking at the little ones because there was birds nesting directly outside my bedroom window. There's a peregrine falcon. I know that one. And I was trying to look through all the little birds, try to figure out which birds were nesting by my window. But they're so cute, I think. There's a grumpy owl. Look at that big piper there. And lots of cool little watery kind of birds. You can always tell by the beaks what they eat and how they live. Some more over here. There's some little watery birds, some kind of ducks. And more little little ducks and geese there. I'm wobbling the camera, making noises in real life. Making some bird noises, probably caw, caw. Or something. I'm not sure what I was doing. I was probably having too much fun looking at all the cool birds. There's some quails, and ooh, look at that guy. And all sorts of beautiful birds here. There's a tiny little owl down there. Can you see it? It's so cool. And a cool duck. And a very teeny tiny sandpiper. Ooh, there's a cool quail looking right at me. California quail. So if you don't know, I've born and raised and lived my whole life until last November in California, so I'm really proud of that. Look at this grouse on full display. All of its feathers are out. And yeah, and there's just some little ducks down there. Let's see what's over here. Oh, isn't that beautiful? There's another kind of cormorant bird. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it. And lots of little guys down there too. Over here we have some bigger birds. So neat. It's hard to imagine that all of these different birds live just in the little desert where I reside. It's so many. You can see a pheasant over there. Get a closer look at it. Yeah, big beautiful pheasant with long beautiful feathers. Look at these cranes, oh my. They're so cool. Those long amazing legs, and oh boy, oh man, oh gosh, a gigantic pelican is here. Look at that. Those are massive birds, aren't they? And here's some little furry friends. Some bunnies down there. There's a beautiful fox. Let's see. What is that? A skunk. That's so small for a skunk. That's so cool. There's a beautiful little kitty there. A marten. And a ringtail. But you can see how it got the name, huh? Lots of little ground friends. And look, it's a busy beaver. Ooh. And some cute guys. He kind of looks like a wombat down there, but he obviously is not. There's an American mink. And little ground squirrels that live all over the place. There's a really busy beaver there. There's big teeth. And yeah, the little ground squirrels, these are all over the place. And a little chipmunk as well. Yes, so cool. And then here we have really cool birds as well. Lots of neat colors there. There's just some, oh man, that duck is coming at you. Just some regular ducks. These are very typical ducks here in the United States. And some beautiful little birds there. I really filmed a lot of birds, didn't I? But I like birds. It's a beautiful little falcon there. Another water bird. There's just a regular seagull. Just a typical seagull. And another gorgeous bird of prey there. So neat. Didn't realize there were so many birds. Here we have a horse skeleton. Another horse skeleton, but a typical horse that you would see nowadays. Here's some even bigger animals. Beautiful barn owl. A big old, I think that's a great horned owl. There's a coyote and a mountain lion, also known as a puma in other places. Big old jackrabbit there too. There's a sweet otter and the bald eagle, the national bird of the United States. And look at the chompers on that guy. Oh my, oh my. Again, whenever you see me wobbling the camera, I'm making sound effects in real life. Because here in this exhibit, I'm just like talking to all the animals. There's a sweet deer. And, like a mountain. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Like a mountain kind of, antelope. That's the word. There's a fish up there. And some more cool little birds of prey. Guess they ran out of space, so were the other birds. And some mountain goats. Ooh, look at that guy. He's got a full set of horns. And here they had a full-size horn from the bighorn sheep. It's pretty big. Bigger than, like, it looks from just looking at the animal. And, yeah. I really enjoyed this exhibit, if you can't tell from my camera work. I was just talking to all the animals in here. Especially the bear. I love the bear. Here we're going more into human history. Now the humans have arrived. You can see there's a little diorama here of them setting up a little village. There's some of the weapons that were used. We're going to see a whole exhibit later of guns throughout history. So we'll get to see a lot more cool old-timey guns and swords and things like that. Those kind of look like World War II era. The history of how Nevada expanded throughout the years. Pretty interesting. What else do we have? Some old-timey furniture with some mannequins there to kind of display what it would look like in a typical Nevadan home. Lots of goodies around here. All sorts of things that we have no more use of now. This beautiful mirror as well is really pretty. There's a mound house replica there. The Comstock Industrial, oh, I missed it. A little place, I assume, where they would like weigh stones and silver and all of that and send it off to where it needed to go. Lots of old artifacts here. You can see some ways of like counting money. Oh, you know what this is? I'm sorry. This is the Chinese exhibit over here. Take a look at this. I remember this. Really cool old-timey furniture from the Chinese immigrants that used to live here and work in the mines. So we go over here. You can see a replica of what their village looked like, which is really neat because it looks like a little Chinese village but like with American architecture. I think that's really neat. Another side of the little house here, you can see their kitchen and dining area. There's a really cool saddle on this horse. Very, very neat. Old Westy stuff, right? Ooh, that's really big horns. And above here, there's a lot of furniture as well. Old carts and sleighs and wagons. There's a big lamp. Yeah, stuff that was too big to go anywhere else they put on top of the exhibits. They were a little hard to see. Here's a prison cell. Lots of artifacts from the old jails that they had. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Lots of reward posters. Over here we can see the beginnings of gambling. One of the, probably the most important pastime in Nevada's history and Nevada's economy today. Lots of card tables and ways to play. I guess you would play blackjack on that table. And then I'm gonna get a shot of it in a second. Here we go. This roulette wheel I was staring at forever. So it looks like you roll a dice and you spin that wheel and it has every combination on it of 3 dice. That is so complex. But man, what a game of chance that would be. Raffle. I guess you can play a bunch of games on that table. That's pretty neat. And yeah, this is when my sister came over and I was like, look at this wheel. It's so fascinating. You would never see anything like that today. Look at these old penny farthing bicycles. And an old wagon up there and an old car here. And we've already been to the National Automobile Museum in Reno, Nevada, so I have a video for that too. Here we can see some artifacts from the mines. Now we're getting into the mining artifacts. Weights and scales and measurements. Mining technology, it says. Some old tools they would have used. Sorry that I'm not going into too much detail, but there's just too much to see. Look at this old camera. Plates and old photographs. Look at that baby. It's a happy baby. And lots of little postcards and things too. That's so neat. Have you seen the big Carson elephant? And there they are. Elephants walking down the main street of Carson City. I bet these people had never seen an elephant before, so they all came out to see these cool elephants. It must have been a circus in town or something. Definitely commemorating something. Let's see what we have on this side of the car. It looks like we've got some advancing technology. Old, I forget what those are called. That would play music. Oh, it says on there Edison's. Oh dear. A typewriter, telephone, and yes, I think in this section was a bunch of old Thomas Edison inventions that had made their way to Nevada. Cameras, light bulb there. There's an Edison light bulb. Pretty neat stuff. Here's some old clocks. And over here, my goodness, it's lots of fancy things. Here you can see all the counties, which we are right there. You can tell Reno and Carson City have been rubbed off a lot because a lot of people from those places are coming to here from there. And down here is Las Vegas. Probably the most famous city in Nevada by far. Looks like lots of World War I artifacts there. Then we move into, oh, and then I saw this guy up here putting up a telephone. He jump scared me a little, but it is a mannequin. And this is talking about, you can see an airplane there, but how they set up the first telephone wires at Utah state line. Setting up the first telephone wires. Pretty neat. It's something you don't really think about nowadays, but something that was very, very important back then. Now let's move into more modern history. Modern by I mean like 100 years ago. An old road sign here telling you how far away you are from everything else. Old license plates for very old cars. There's a gas pump and another old car there. Looks like that car is getting fueled up, right? Over here, looks like an old barber chair. What it would look like when you'd get your beard shaved. And let's see, I was reading a lot of the signs. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of teeth that have been pulled. Okay, maybe that's a dentist's chair. Yeah, I think that's a dentist's chair instead. Here we have some suffragettes and some, look like women's rights and equality artifacts. An old motorcycle. And over here, let's see what we have. It's more household goods from like the 1940s, 1950s. There's a vacuum cleaner, a waffle iron, lots of other old doodads. There's an old record player. You can see the Hoover Dam being built right there. Up here's some more very old furniture from back then. Yeah, very fascinating that everyday things are on display. So this ship, I had to come back and look at it, but this is a ship, a replica of a ship, the USS Nevada, I believe it's called. That sank in Pearl Harbor. Lots of World War II memorabilia over here. Women's uniform. She's got a ration book there, looks like. A very old machine gun. Used in war times. Nevada state line, no income tax, no sales tax, no inheritance tax, no corporation tax, no gift tax. A debt-free state welcomes you. There's an old, looks like an old slot machine of some kind. And here we have some exhibits from Las Vegas when the boom began. And Las Vegas became just a little quiet town to a gambler's paradise, which it still is today. These are items from when nuclear bombs were tested in the Nevada desert. And yeah, lots of photographs of what things look like when they exploded. Very interesting, I think. And then over here we have Nevada today. There's Reno, where I live. Pyramid Lake. Oh no, that's Reno. And then we've got lots of Las Vegas down here. Old-timey Las Vegas, of course. And some pictures there of the native population. Here's the state population today. Well, the day I filmed this, at least. I wonder if it ticked up when I moved here in November. Now we're moving on to the Mint. We're now inside the actual Mint building. So a lot of these artifacts have actually never left the building. This is a coin press, which was used way long ago, and it's still in operation, but they only do it on the weekends, so it was not on when I was there. But you can get little coins made and your coins pressed and things like that. It's so cool. Here's a bunch of silver that's made from Nevada silver. Lots of cool tureens and cups and kettles. Absolutely stunning, right? So gorgeous. All mined and created in the state of Nevada. So fascinating. All the little cups on the side. So cool. Here's some more beautiful kettles and a serving tray made with Nevada silver. Can see what it looked like at the beginning. That's how it looks, just normal. And then it gets pressed, and then it gets shaped into all of these amazing shapes. There's a bunch of ladles, candle holders, candlestick holders. I love this teapot. It's so beautiful. Something there, a cup of some kind. The loving cup. There's a cool little tobacco box too, very tiny. Another big tureen there for your soups. And yes, all different kinds of things made out of Nevada silver. I was looking through this exhibit, not terribly impressed, until I saw this. The Carson City Register. And so many old names and signs of people who visited the Mint from so long ago. It's the very old guest book here. How cool is that? A set of keys and everything. So it's tourist stuff from when this was a mint. And here are some actual coins that were minted here in the Mint. And we go over here, we can see this was neat. Coin dies, canceled coin dies. So if something gets failed, if it comes out wrong, they put this big X across it. So you can't circulate. And that's what this room looked like so long ago. This exact room that I'm standing in right now used to look exactly like that. Absolutely fascinating. Yep, see, that's me telling my sister, that's the room we're in. I recognized it. And lots of cool artifacts from the Mint. We are heading into the spooky ghost town. Oh my, oh gosh. I'm shaking with fear at the ghost town. Which, this room is kind of neat. There's some cool old-fashioned guns there. We're going to see a lot more of those. So, as we enter the ghost town, there's a mine shaft. We're going to go in that later. There's this scary old mannequin that I'm going to come back to with his little donkey. And this place had a really cool kind of ambiance sound to it. So in a second, I'm going to stop my recording. I know I was trying to figure out what this old man was doing. And I'm going to let you guys hear the ambiance. So yeah, is that not like the coolest thing that they added all of those neat sounds inside? I thought it added like this really cool air of mystery to things, and looking at all these old like little artifacts here mixed with things rebuilt. So yeah, we hit a button and this guy started moving and talking, and to me it was like the scariest thing in the world. Look how like he looks like he's like a possessed mannequin. I don't know. Here we are in the weapons gallery. So we're about to look at a bunch of really cool old-fashioned weapons, starting off with the OG weapons, some arrowheads, and moving on to cool old muskets, crossbows, and old rifles. Now, I know nothing about guns, so I'm not quite sure what all of these kind of guns are called. I know that's a gunpowder horn. Those are definitely muskets. There's some really tiny ones. I was really amazed by how many tiny guns there were. Like, you know, there's small guns, and there's ones that are like the size of your hand. Some cool old knives down here. Looks like a little bullet case there. And some revolvers. I hope I'm getting that all right. Again, I know nothing about guns at all. Some old-timey handcuffs there. The old sheriff. Some Wild West guns. Rifles and teeny tiny guns. So small. But so interesting. It's kind of a thing that I never really think about. Just how many different types of guns there were in the Wild West. You kind of only picture like 2 or 3, but there were apparently so many. Some hunting rifles here. Yeah, trying to get a good look at all of them. Mostly just trying to see what the difference were between them. I really cannot tell. This is sort of like me in the automobile museum. This is so out of my wheelhouse, isn't it? Old pistols and just all kinds. It was so interesting. And look at this big machine gun. That would do some damage, wouldn't it? How fascinating. And you can see the little crank there. Turn on all the bullets. Here we're definitely in World War I. You can see some sabers there, some swords, and there's another cool machine gun. How neat. Pistols and big rifles. And there's an old helmet here. And bombs. Or grenades, I assume. There's an old-timey gas mask. There's a grenade. And all kinds of, I assume this is the World War II section now. So here we are with World War II weapons, heading closer and closer into the modern age. I think I'm going to go back to that one exhibit in a minute, because it's really cool. I didn't realize how cool it was when I passed by it. But we have some more guns, some old medals too. Definitely donated by some wartime heroes. And it looks like a box where you store them all. That's pretty neat. Make sure everything's cleaned and you have all the parts and components that you would need. Okay, so I didn't go back to that one. But we are going to enter this mine shaft recreation, underground mining. I filmed the entire thing. I don't know if it's going to be visible. I didn't double check this footage, but we'll see what comes up on the camera. So we are about to go down underground to the basement of the building, which today is our mine shaft, our big mining caverns here. Let's see what we have. This room, I remember, was very scary because that little plank there did not feel stable, and it was very scary to walk over. You are standing in a mine cave. How fascinating. Lots of dangerous things around, and lots of replica miners here. Working hard. You can see his mask on so he can breathe properly. Going down under the ground to mine. Very treacherous. There we go. Oxygen breathing rescue apparatus, it says. Let's see what this guy's up to. Something important there. Looks like he's sorting out some kind of, kind of looks like matches. I guess they are explosives, right? And down here you can actually see the little tracks for the carts that would go around the mines. And let's see what they're doing over here. Oh, and there is a minecart. We're gonna come back to that though. But over here, we can see them taking away the rock, that big jackhammer. A lot of my camera work is a little shoddy here because I am trying to watch my step very carefully. It was very dark in here and very spooky and eerie, and the ceilings were very low, so I'm going to demonstrate in a video coming up. Big hole there. Very, very dangerous work over here. Then we move over to a replica of what the entire area would look like as they went down and excavated and built little ladders and passageways so they could go even further down. Very, very scary. I don't really have a fear of like caves and things like this, but they do make me very unsettled if I start thinking about it for too much. That's apparently how you get tools up and down. Employees not allowed to ride. There's a guy operating it so that all their equipment can get safely down and up again. And let's see. I was mostly just freaked out in this section, to be honest. Like, I'm not a claustrophobic person, but oh boy. Let's look at this. Big device here. I was too weirded out to spend too much time. Oh boy, oh boy. That's a long one. That's uncomfortable. Oh boy. I could never be a miner. Ever. All this stuff, it's really kind of creepy to me. Let's see. And it was really neat how impeccably they recreated so many different aspects of what it would be like to be underground in a mine. They did a really good job on this. It was really like, this could be like a haunted house maze to me. Some more work being done over here. Abandoned shaft. I guess there is no more work being done over here. Caved in. Oh dear. See, that's what freaks me out about these kinds of places. Thankfully, of course, it's just a recreation of it. Working hard there. Chiseling away this beautiful stone. And again, this is how those beautiful, beautiful rocks that we saw before came out of the ground and up into the light. It was the hard work of people like this, who worked deep underground in the heart of the earth. And, yeah. I was thankful that there was some light, because it was a very dark place. Here I am demonstrating how tall I am, and, let's see. I have my hand there on the ceiling, and there's my head. So yeah, if my cam work is not great here, that is why. It was dark, and the ceiling was very low, and it was very claustrophobic. So that's why my filming is not so great over here. I was mostly just like, yep, that's cool, let's keep on going. Hard at work over here, hammering into the rock. And let's see. Over here. Yep, I was like, oh, that's right. So it was like press here and hold, and the lights went out, so you would see just how dark it was. And I went, I don't like this. Because I'm not one to be afraid of the dark either, but when you're in a cramped spot like that underground, no thank you. So you'd push it and the lights would go out. So that was very, a very nice demonstration of what it would have really looked like if all the lights had gone out. I would have been crying like a baby. There's the powder magazine where they keep all of the dangerous explosives. They can blow up some rock to get at it. And let's see over here. That area was closed off. Some machinery, I assume, to get the equipment working, or maybe to pump some oxygen down there. Let's see. Again, at the time I was like, that's cool, moving on. It was really wigging me out. But really neat, I think. In retrospect, at least. Now that I'm recording this audio not down there, it's all very interesting. But, yeah, I was like, let's move through and get out of here. There's the old cart that would have gone on the tracks that you see there on the ground. And yeah, I was like, oh, that's the cart. That means we're almost out of here. And I was very excited to go because then we had to walk over this part again. That like even bothered my sister. She walked over it. It didn't feel right. Now this was a neat little exhibit. This is the 80th birthday of the museum, and it's pretty much like miscellaneous stuff from their back closet, it seems. An old calculator there. How neat is that? An old silver dollar. Virgin Valley black fire opal. I remember filming this and being like, oh, it's not picking up on the camera just how shiny and beautiful that rock was. And I was so disappointed. And yeah, I kept trying to go to different angles to try to pick it up, but trust me, it was like 10 times shinier than it was on there. It's a little grouse. This is Captain Pete's vest, and there he is wearing it. Pretty cool. That's like not an ancient artifact. That's a dude that's still around. He donated one of his vests. Reno wins the space race. They made their moonshot cocktail to celebrate Apollo 11. That's a pretty neat cocktail glass. There's Abe Lincoln. I didn't read that. I liked this, an old dice roller. That is super cool. You can see the old casino dice in there. A beautiful basket. We're going to go to the Native American exhibit after this. They had just built it. And there was lots of neat clothes. I was like, oh, here's some of Harry Styles' clothes. Okay. But it was this neat exhibit of some old-timey clothes. And it looks like I was like trying to ask my sister, like, what is this? And they were clothes worn by old casino workers. Over here, a big oh, I forget the story about this. I was reading it for a while. Earl Halsey's saddle intact. That was it. This guy who was part of the World War II invasion of Japan. Of course, the U.S. famously didn't get to invade Japan, but he wanted to ride the emperor's horse. So he got this like saddle and bridle made for the occasion, which of course didn't actually happen, but he's very hopeful. There's a giant fish. Looks kind of like a salmon. He's looking right at you. And then there is a neat exhibit over here of dresses from the first women, first wives, first ladies of Nevada. So this is the current governor's wife's, one of her gowns, which I thought was very beautiful. And then over here is a gown from the first lady of Nevada, earliest first lady gown. But yeah, this is when I was like, oh, I get it. It took me a while walking around to figure out where these, like, who these dresses belong to. They're all the governor's wives' gowns, and there's some cool pictures. They're obviously like in the back, being carefully preserved, but all of these gowns worn by, wasn't that one beautiful? Worn by the first ladies of Nevada. Some really gorgeous ones, and some really strange ones too. These women had some very interesting tastes. Look at that. It's like definitely one from the 70s or the 60s, around there. First ladies' gowns. Here's a little skull from an Ice Age cheetah, the North American cheetah, which has since gone extinct. I try to make it spooky there. So here we are in the Native American exhibit. Like I said, this wing is like the special exhibit wing, and apparently it had just been completed. So here, these are water bottles, basically. Water containers that are handmade, woven, and they had a bunch of them. They were really, really neat. So let's see what we've got over here. Like I said, it was just completed, so yeah, it was really kind of sparse, but so interesting. I think this was my favorite part. Look at these old points and exhibits from peoples who lived thousands of years ago. Remnants of an old basket, it looks like. And let's see. This is me trying to read all the little things. Oh, it's a mat. I see. It's a part of a mat. And let's see over here. Oh no, we're gonna go look over here, which there's some more points here. And look, they are Clovis points, and I got really excited because I've never seen real Clovis points before. And I've read about them so many times on my channel that I got super hyped for the Clovis points. Or they're Clovis type points, but nonetheless, same difference, right? Probably not from the Clovis culture, but same types of arrowheads. Circa 10 to 12,000 years old. Some of the earliest artifacts from our earliest ancestors who lived here. And this was really neat. Lots of things you can see. There's a duck decoy and little things that they had carved out of stone. You can see they made a rabbit, a toad, a frog, an owl, question mark, a bear, and some humans, which this was my favorite. They're so cute. So yeah, some old-timey toys. Some more beautiful weaving there. Yeah, just absolutely fascinating that they came from so long ago. But this still looks really, really neat. And you can still tell what they are. I just think that's so neat. Some woven bowls there. Bow and arrow. Very cool. I liked this exhibit. Here's a map you can see of where the native tribes pretty much lived in what's now the borders of Nevada. There's another water bottle over here, which that's just so neat that was used to carry water, that they just wove a thing that could carry water like that. And this was a neat little exhibit of like the marshland that they used to hunt in and would get the reeds out of to make all their little doodads and things. Like there's some toys. There's, let's see, oh, those are fish. But there's the net they would use to catch the fish. What else did they use the reeds to make? All kinds of hunting things there for the little duck so they could catch it. There's another decoy. How cool is that they made decoys? It's so clever. I would have never thought of that if I wanted to hunt ducks. So I'm impressed for them. And some knives there made out of basalt. And another big water carrier, I believe. Yeah, it's so neat. Or basket to carry whatever they needed, right? Absolutely fascinating that they can weave things so intricately. There's a picture of what one of the tribes' homes would have looked like. And let's see this. Picture of the marsh there. I guess there's someone there gathering reeds so that they can weave more neat things out of. We head over here to the more modern lifestyles of Native Americans in Nevada. You can see one of those baskets is holding a sweet little cat. And let's see, the tribal lands today. And lots of cool photographs. There's lots of exhibits from high schools. Lots of trophies there. And oh, there's some more water bottles, which is just so cool. I'm like so fascinated that they can make so many cool water carriers out of woven reeds. Some headdresses and special garments. They would worn gloves. And over here, let's see. Some things made out of swan bones and utensils and rocks, it looks like. Let's see. There's some toys, jewelry. Very, very fascinating. And over here you can see some things from high school years. There's a cool photo there of their high school. Stewart Indian High School, their graduation robes, them on parade, them in their traditional costumes, and lots of memorabilia from that. And that's where my footage ends, apparently. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a very good